Well, we gotta rip the band-aid off, haven't we? I don't want to talk about this too much because it's really stupid. Like, it's really stupid. I'm sorry. Okay. The fucking tiny ass question mark in the white box. Oh, sorry. It fucking sends me. Absolutely fucking sends me. So Arxis posted this out, which, if you don't know, this is obviously the character select screen on the verses. They've reformatted how everyone is. So let me actually move myself. They reformatted how everyone does. They haven't reformatted it too much. It's still like a very big dividing line between the base roster characters. And we got Season 1, Season 2. I can't remember where Season 2 starts, but Season 2 starts over here. Season 3 and Season 4. So it's like, put yourself over the question mark. You saw right, actually. So there's not too much going on. A lot of people have tried extrapolating out from this. People have basically put the size of the cube around and said that there's room for, like, fucking 24 or something like that characters. Like, there's a lot more room, so we can expect more characters to come out. But there's really nothing much that we can glean from this, unfortunately. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, because it's really, really, really stupid. But they also revealed... So a fucking Markiplier staring at me in the fucking face. They revealed the game's gonna be at Evo Japan this year, which is literally the start of May. Like, May 1st is when Evo Japan starts. So we have a release window of next month, essentially. The likelihood is it's not going to come out immediately when, you know, everything starts. But there is a non-zero chance that sometime next month we get 2.0. And that's the Strive news. What do you mean it's either Jam or Robo-Ky? How do you glean anything from this? I wonder if we'll get another teaser next weekend. Like, another teaser of... Are we serious? If this is the level of teaser we're at, how the fuck are we going to get anything? How are we going to extrapolate anything from this? Chat room, we need to talk about the question mark. I've been dying to talk about the question mark. Can we talk about the question mark, please? So, well, I've been dying to talk about the question mark. So can we talk about the question mark, please? What the fuck am I even supposed to be looking at here? What am I supposed to be looking at? It's a fucking white box with a question mark in it. Now, if you don't know, Strive has teased their characters quite a lot in the past. There's been a long history of Strive showing silhouettes of characters. We've had Happy Chaos was the most notorious one. Everyone likes to be like, oh, they're so easy to predict because Slayer was easy to predict. Look at the Happy Chaos one and you will genuinely be confused. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up. Hold on. Like, what are we looking at here? That still doesn't even look like him. I Googled that. And I don't believe that that is Chaos. What the fuck am I looking at? But this is like to a new level. This is to a new insane. It's literally just a question mark with a white box in it. Now, I've been saying to Arxis, personally, I've been writing them several emails today, saying that we need some kind of teaser. We need some way to figure out what the character is. And they haven't responded to any of my claims. They haven't said a single word to me. But there's been times in the past where I've said things and they've indirectly responded to me. So if they are putting this out, and this is the silhouette, that means one thing and one thing only. The character must fit inside of the box. As we can see, they have covered up literally everything that could be revealed with the character. People have said, oh, well, they didn't put it down far enough so that you couldn't see the name, and those people are idiots. As you can see, the line on here is perfectly covered by what it would say with their name, if they are ready, and what their type is, as well as their difficulty rating. Meaning that if this can fit in the box, then the character must be able to fit in the box. This gives us a couple of ground rules to work with. This gives us a couple of things that we are able to use. They must be small. The character must be big enough to be able to fit within the box itself. If they're too big, they'd show on the outside of the box. Therefore, they must be small enough that they can fit within that cube. They must not have anything below the waistline. If we go back, we can see that you could see Soul's feet below the area, meaning that anything waist below can't be there, or it must be small enough that you can't actually see it. Finally, they have no tagline. As you can see in the teaser image, the taglines have been switched. They used to be underneath the character, but now they've been moved to the side of the screen. It may be that when you lock in the character, the tagline shows up. But if we're assuming that the tagline is always there, there is none on this side of the screen. Meaning they have no tagline. So they are either so simple that they do not have one, or they are a character that wishes to stay anonymous. They're a character that does not want to be known. Now, I'm somewhat of a Guilty Gear connoisseur. I've played a lot of the games. More games than most people complaining on Twitter. And I instantly thought, a character that doesn't want to be known by the masses, a character that has nothing below the waistline, and a character that's small, perhaps the size of a chicken. A couple of you have already guessed it. But of course, that means the character that can fit in this box is, of course, Dr. Paradigm. The fucker! Dr. Paradigm, well-known bullshitter from Guilty Gear to the MOBA, as well as making an appearance in Guilty Gear Dual Rulers. They've recently reintroduced the characters. He is part of a colony of gears that wish to live peacefully away from humans, so why would he have a tagline? He simply wants to be left alone. He wants to be taken away from the masses. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be seen. Your Honor, I rest my case. On a fucking cliff? What do you mean? What do you mean paradigm? What do you mean Dr. Paradigm? That's ridiculous. That's stupid. That is absolutely insane, woke nonsense. We've already had 2 characters that have been revealed to us. So I started thinking, nothing below the waistline, small enough that they can fit inside of the box, and doesn't want to be known. Well, if I was to, say, die in a horrific explosion that took out everything around me, and I was supposed to be presumed dead for the horrendous acts I did in the previous life, and I was but a head. I simply would not have a body. I would be small. I would be tiny. I would be but a little guy. Then I would be able to fit in the cube. I would have nothing below my waistline. And I would not want to be known. Therefore, I would not have a tag. And of course, it hit me like a bolt of lightning. Like a giant explosion from me using all of my energy to take out a basic god. This is not Dr. Paradigm. That's ridiculous. You all fell for my ruse. You fool! This is but, of course, Robo-Ky in his head form. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. He's so small, he's so tiny that he can fit within the box because he's just a little head. He's just a little head with little wheels. So he fits within the box. He doesn't want to be known. He's dead. All of the Robo-Kys are dead. He doesn't want anyone to come after him. He's just a symbol, bakery, accessory. He's just a little guy. How would he fight? Well, of course, Robo-Ky used to be a composite character. What he would do is he would take different bodies and use their movesets. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. If you're an idiot, of course it's not going to be Robo-Ky's head. Why would it be Robo-Ky's head? That's ridiculous. You think Robo-Ky would be teased like this? That's stupid. No. As several people have pointed out, This is made in engine. There is no artifacts around what we are looking at. It is too perfectly framed and made to not be made by the Strive team in engine. That made me think about several different things. It made me think further outside of the game. Why is the question mark so small? It seems like a minuscule detail, a silly detail, like a really, really dumb detail when you think about it. Such a big box for such a small question mark. You naive fool. You fucking fool. You fucking idiot. The reason the question mark is so small is because the character's that small. The big white canvas made you miss the most important detail in front of your face. It being made in engine, of course, made me think meta. What goes outside of the game? Guilty Gear Strive natively runs in 1920, 1080p. Sometimes even bigger, depending on what console you're playing or what PC you're playing on. We go all the way back to Guilty Gear XX. The size of the screen in that game is 480p, meaning if you took an original sprite from Guilty Gear XX and put it up against a Strive character model, they would be so small, so tiny. And Arxis isn't just going to throw a random curveball after putting two separate characters in here. So it can't be Robo-Ky. Meaning, it has to be the original XX iteration of Jam in her canonical size. The sprite is around 112 pixels tall, meaning it would fit just above the question mark. Case closed. If you are one of the fools listening to this, you have been duped. If you thought this was the end, then that is ridiculous. You, my friend, would make the worst detective that this agency has ever seen. Of course it can't be Jam. She's still too big. She's still too big. She's still way too big. I measured the pixels of the question mark, and it stands at around 52 pixels tall. We need a screen that goes even smaller. Not 480p from Guilty Gear XX. Not even the 360p from the PlayStation 1. Chat room, have you ever heard of the Wonder Song Color? The Wonder Swan Color. Sorry. There is a spin-off game on the Wonder Swan Color called Guilty Gear Petite. Guilty Gear Petite has a character that has never, ever shown up in any bit of Guilty Gear media ever since. Now, we have to look at this roster a little bit. Let's look at let's avert our eyes from the question mark. Okay, that's ridiculous. Characters in here are very known to have pairs. Characters link up together really well. We obviously have Kai and Sol. I put them the wrong way round. We have Ramlafol and we have Elfelt. We have Zato and we have Milia. What's the one character that's never had an equal? Faust. Not in any of the DLC, not in any of the promotional material has Faust ever had a character to go alongside him. So, wouldn't it make sense to round off a dynamic with a character that's been known to be pretty shit since the game came out by hiding her behind a question mark the whole time? Of course! They're also on the bottom row. It makes too much sense. 52 pixels tall. The Wonder Swan is 252 pixels big. If you take a character that's a quarter of that size, you get a 50 pixel character. Meaning behind that question mark is, of course, Fanny from Guilty Gear 2 Petite. It just all makes sense. It just all adds up. You're welcome, chat. You're welcome for me spoiling everything. She's too big. It seems we have some detectives in chat. Because, yes! Correct! She is too big! You guys are more on the ball than I expected. You guys are getting better. You're getting better. Of course it can't be Fanny. Of course it can't be Fanny. Why would it be Fanny? That's ridiculous. No. We need something smaller. Something even smaller. Something so tiny you can't even see it. Let's think back to the meta of this again. A white box. An empty void with a single question mark inside of it. Doesn't make much sense. That's weird. Seems like there's something wrong with my perfect void. There's something causing a continuum shift. If this is not dealt with, it could trigger a calamity, the size of which we do not understand. Something that doesn't make sense in my perfect world. Someone's fiction has become central to my perfect world. What is smaller than 52 pixels? What is smaller than a single pixel? An atom. What is smaller than an atom? The things that make them up. What is smaller than things that make up atoms? Nothing. Something that cannot, does not, and will not exist in my perfect utopia. It all made sense. A sword stood in a lowly field. Its essence reminds people of something. Someone who would never, ever, ever give up. But they can't remember who it is. And why can't they remember who it is? Because he was here the whole time. It was the most meta reveal they could have possibly done. They cannot remember who he is. His existence is but a blip on this world. Because he has taken himself to a different area. Case fucking closed. Yeah, not really. Okay, that's me being a little bit silly. Me getting a little bit out of hand. Me getting a little bit stupid. Me getting a little bit crazy. It's not Ragnar. It's not. It's someone who's been here longer. Echo, you out of meds? I don't need to take anything. This is me at peak performance. Silly little guy. What do you mean by silly little guy? You know, there's been a character that hasn't really appeared in Strive that's been in a bunch of Guilty Gear media who is known for being a silly little guy. That's literally him. He's been the star of his own game, for fuck's sake. And I started thinking, white with a little bit of black on it. Maybe we're thinking about this the wrong way. You know? Maybe this is only a snippet of the full reveal. What if instead of it being something that's covering up, it can only be a small window because its magnitude could not be contained? And then it hit me. Of course! This is a zoomed-in version of Guilty Gear's most well-known character, Chimaki! But of course, the pure white void with a little bit of darkness in it. It all makes too much sense. It all makes way too much sense. We are ahead of you. You don't even know how far ahead of you I am. You guys have sat here playing catch-up chess, playing fucking checkers, while I'm out here time-traveling interdimensionally to make sure you follow my breadcrumbs like the little ducks you are. Of course. Chimaki? That's ridiculous. Are you stupid? Billy, thank you with the prime sub. Hello.
Hi, Gecko HI.
Are you stupid? We need to think about this in a more rational way. There's recently been a teaser. Chat room. There's been a teaser recently of something. And of course, we all know what it is. Balloon's tower defense has a giant question mark. I don't even need to show you it. You all know it. And you all think, oh, the big F, the question mark. That obviously means it's Guilty Gear. No. There has been but one question mark in gaming. But one that is as impactful as the rest of these. One question mark that when everybody sees it, they know exactly what is happening. If they were to show it outright, it would give the jig up. They wouldn't be able to do it. So they have to wait. They have to bide their time. It's not Bloons Tower Defense. It's not Terry Bogard. It's not the box from FNAF. It's not Drifter from Deathlock. Chat room, you obviously all had childhoods akin to ants. The best question mark in gaming, the one that leaves everyone wanting and knowing exactly what it is but of course, Supersonic from Sonic Adventure 1. It makes too much sense. It checks out too many boxes. I rest my case. Fuck all of you thinking you're steps ahead of me.